What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. This time I wanted to do something different. I wanted to do more of like a lifestyle post, like blogging style, but this is a story time, and I'm gonna tell you about my experience over the last few months with finding out I was pregnant, to finding out I had a miscarriage, to going through the D&C, and then just a lot of like the mental stuff that you go through, and I went through and I experienced during this process. So I wanted to share that with you guys, and also just because I had no idea how common miscarriages were, like during your first pregnancy or during any pregnancy, just in general. Like I've known that what a miscarriage was, but I had no idea there were different types. I had no idea how common they were early on. Well, not early on, but no idea how common they were, especially, like I said, for your first time. So yeah, so I'm gonna get into that story, so y'all stick around and I'll talk about that and just share some of my experience with it. Okay, all right, see you. All right, welcome. Thank y'all for sticking around. I'm excited to tell this story, but I'm also kind of like, ooh, a little bit scared too. It's something very intimate, so you kind of want to make sure you are prepared to have the conversation, because sometimes you can start talking about stuff too early. So I feel like I'm in a good space to have this discussion, but if I'm not and I start crying throughout this video, just keep rolling. All right, we're gonna keep rolling, and it is what it is. This is story time. So y'all, I did not know I was pregnant. I'm gonna just say it. I did not know I was pregnant. I went home and I'm sure it happened before this, that week. It had to, because the timing was making sense, but it was the week before I went home for my friend's birthday. So my friend Deanna had her birthday party on a yacht, and we ended up, hanging out, chilling. And my sister told me, she was like, "You glowing, like you looking a little different." I'm like, "Girl, shut up." So then I was like, "I'm good," because my cycle had just went off. So I was like, "I'm good. I ain't tripping on nothing like that." But then, right after my friend's birthday, like I just got back into work mode, and I was traveling. I went to I was in New Hampshire at Tuck Business School for a business program. So I stayed up there, an executive business program. I stayed up there. I was there for like a week, came back home. I stayed home for a few days, and then I left again to go to Chicago for an NMSDC event. So like, y'all, I was traveling and working, so I wasn't paying like a lot of like attention. But I do remember that when I packed to go on the trip, the very first trip to New Hampshire, I ended up packing some pads in the bag in my suitcase. So then I got back home. Like I said, I was home for a few days. I ain't paid no attention to it. Unpacked, everything. Didn't pay no attention to it. And then I left, went to Chicago, came back home, and then I was like, wait a minute. It hadn't came on yet. So I was like, ooh. I was keeping myself calm, because y'all, we've tried to get pregnant before and it just hadn't worked. So I honestly kind of just thought I couldn't have kids. Like, and just to be honest with you, I've never been tested or nothing, but just to trying to keep my hopes down. I was like, all right, cool, don't do it, because I've taken pregnancy tests after pregnancy tests and they all came back negative. Like if my period was late a day or whatever the case may be, I would go and take a test because I was excited. But this time I was like, it probably ain't nothing, probably just late. But that was late a long time. But so I ain't say nothing to phase on either, because I do get myself worked up every single time. Like I get so excited, and I am that person. I get excited about everything. Like when people tell me something that's going on in their life, like I'm so excited. Like, yeah. But either way, so I didn't say nothing to him. I got up that morning, and then I went in the bathroom. And I got a bunch of pregnancy tests been stocked up on them. So I went in the bathroom and I took the test, and I was like, ooh, The first test I took was the Dollar Tree test. You know, y'all gotta start with the cheap ones first before you move on. So I took the Dollar Tree one back, and then the Dollar Tree one immediately, when I tell y'all immediately said yes. So I was like, ooh, shit. I'm okay, all right, cool. Calm down. It may, you know, it may be wrong. Let me go get another one. I took another one, and this was the clear blue one. So I took that one, and it came back positive, but one of the lines was like faint. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna take another one. Went ahead, took one more, same thing, and I was like, oh my God. I was so excited. I was like, okay. I was trying to let Faison sleep because, you know, he had been studying stuff. So I was like, all right, cool, I'm gonna wait. So I waited until he got up, and then that's when I was actually, he barely woke up. I heard him move in the room, and I went in there and I was like, hey, good morning, how you doing? You feeling okay? I was like, oh man, well, I got something to tell you. And then I showed him the test, and he was like, wow, like, wow, babe, like that. And I was like, okay, cool. But immediately after that, I was so excited, and I was like, okay, let me go ahead and start scheduling my doctor's appointments. Y'all, I hate going to the doctor, but I was ready. I was ready to schedule these doctor's appointments. And crazy thing is, well, I went in and I went to the VA because they was gonna do my blood work, and then they was gonna refer me to an outside doctor. So I went to the VA, got my blood work done. And hold on, just before I say that, if there are any female veterans who are watching this, the VA has an amazing program for women, and especially if you are pregnant, they have some amazing programs. Like, y'all, it's like, it's good. I'm gonna just say that. So the VA has really good maternal programs, and you can connect with a maternity community coordinator. And the one down here in Broward in Miami, absolutely amazing. She was so sweet, and she's even been, you know, with me through the process of, like, you know, with the DNC and everything, and like having a conversation and talking to her about it. And, you know, it felt really good, like, actually, you know, having someone in that space to be able to communicate with and talk to. And so I digress. So I went through the VA and I did the blood test, and blood test came back positive. Well, it didn't come back positive, but yeah, it came back and it showed the HCC levels were through the roof. So I was like, all right, cool. Then that's when I got a referral to an outside doctor. Now, what I will say is, y'all, it takes some time to get these appointments. Like, it's been taking a while to get this appointment. And what I was so annoyed about with my first appointment is that you wait like almost 3-4 weeks for the appointment, and then you get in there and they ask you basically the something that you could answer in a form in a survey online, and they didn't test me, they didn't do like an ultrasound, like none of that. So they really just estimated how far along I was by what I told them my last period was. But I had already knew that because of the app, the what's that app called that I downloaded? I downloaded the app, What to Expect, and then the Flow. I got the Flow for like tracking my cycle or whatever. I just got that one. I ain't had that one before. I got it this time because y'all know. But yeah, What to Expect. So I downloaded the What to Expect, said what my last cycle was, and then they hadn't already told me. So I was just like, this felt like a waste of time. Like, I got all excited. Faison and called off work and everything for us to go in here and me to just answer questions about this and like health, like family health. I'm like, okay. And then you have to wait a few more weeks. Oh, when I found out I was already 6 weeks. Was I? Yeah, when I found out I was already 6 weeks, going into my 7th week. So then I had to wait for the next appointment. So the next appointment was, well, I had to get the blood work done, and then the next appointment was the appointment where I was supposed to go and get the ultrasound and stuff done. So this was what, I was in week 11. I was in week 11, and I was so excited, y'all. Like I wanted to, I was vlogging this day, and I went to the place. Faison had to work afterwards, so he met me at the location, but they ended up not letting him back because of COVID or whatever. All right, cool. So I went back in there, and when I went in, like the tech, she was cool, we was vibing. I had my little Osmo, the little camera, and she was like, oh, what is that? That's a camera. It's really like it's handheld. I'll show y'all. Oh, it's right here. But yeah, I had this little camera, and she was like, oh, what kind of camera is that? You know, whatever the case may be. So I was like, all right, this, you know, telling her about it. But yeah, we had a really good vibe initially, and then I was telling her that I wanted to record, and I was telling her, you know, once we get to the actual ultrasound, that I wanted to kind of get that on the camera. So she was like, okay, you know, she was like, but I'm gonna have to take these pictures and stuff first because that's what the doctor requested. So I'm like, all right, cool, you know, do your job, and you know, we just gonna work how we're gonna work it, you know, being cool with her, building that rapport. So after about 5 minutes of doing it, you know, she's like just taking the pictures and blah blah blah, and I'm like, I don't hear nothing. But I'm like, are we supposed to hear anything? And she was like, no, you're not supposed to hear anything. And I was like, wait, because I thought it was supposed to be listening for a heartbeat. I thought that's what you was supposed to hear, the heartbeat. So I was like, I've watched enough look, I've watched enough YouTube videos to be a professional at this. I'm like, all right, cool. So, and it was the vaginal one, so she had to stick the probe up. So I'm like, all right, well, maybe not. So then she was taking the pictures, and I was like, well, can I record something? She's like, there's actually really nothing to see right here, but that's it, and the doctor will give you, the doctor's gonna have to, like, you know, let you get a copy of it or whatever the case may be. And I was like, okay, cool. But y'all know the vibe wasn't there no more. Like, we wasn't kikiing like we was before. So I was like, okay, something's off. So then I immediately, I don't know, you just know, like, the vibe changed. I read the room, baby, and I was like, okay. So I went back to my car, and I was like, oh, fuck. I was like, man. I was like, I know. I'm like, you know what? You could be wrong. So then I got in the car, I called Faison, and then I just started telling him about what happened. Actually, no, I didn't tell him about it. He was at work, so he couldn't pick up. So then I called my sister. I called Jonisha, and her and my mama, they listen to everything that, you know, anytime something going on. So I called, and I was talking to her about it, and I was like, I just feel like something's off. And I was like, but I'm hungry, so I'm gonna go get me some food. And I ended up going to this pizza spot, but y'all, I'm so impatient. Like, I'm so impatient. So I logged into my medical records online, and I'm sitting outside the pizza place waiting for my food, and I logged in, and I saw that the results were in. So I clicked on it, and I just read through it, and it was saying that the words that made me realize what it was it says, no fetal heartbeat detected. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, and it tells you like how big the baby was measuring and like everything. So I was on track. So basically I was already at 11 weeks. The baby stopped developing at 8 weeks. So here I am, 3 weeks. Here I am, 3 weeks, and no fetal heartbeat detected. Like, just floating. Like, so I was like, all right, cool. I broke down. I ain't even gonna sit up here and tell y'all I didn't. I broke down. Like, I'm in a car, I'm bawling, like I'm hyperventilating. And it's just because I'm like, man, like, I started to feel like, you know, like, why me type of thing. you know, like, why would you give me something? Like, this is me talking to God, and I'm just like, why would you give me something knowing that I've wanted this for so long, like, just to, you know, take it away? And it was one of the hardest conversations that I felt like I had to have with him and with myself, because for the first time, like, I was mad. Like, I was mad at him. I was so mad. And I just said, I said, okay, I needed to make sense of it. Like, I needed some kind of way. Oh my God, sorry y'all. I needed some kind of way to, like, make sense of it and just figure out what it was. So I just started researching, and my sister called my mom called, well, my sisters called my mama told my other sisters, and then my phone, everybody on the phone and worried about me. They know I'm a thug, but I'm real emotional. I'm a thug, but I'm super emotional. And they know that I had wanted this for so long. Like, I've talked to them about it. So then I just immediately started researching, because I'm trying to figure out, like, how could this happen to me? Like, I was eating right, I was taking my prenatals, like, y'all, and I'm the type of workaholic person, like, I won't eat throughout the day if I'm working. Like, I won't stop to go eat. Sometimes I'll be holding my pee. Sometimes I hold it when I gotta use the bathroom. But I was waking up, I was making sure that I was eating. I'm like taking care of myself, like, on a different level. And that's one thing, I'll come back to this. But taking care of myself on a just different level. And it also, like, changed my mindset a lot too. Like, immediately after finding out, like, you become, you know, I don't know, it's like an instinct. Like, it just shifts, and you just start only focusing on what's gonna, you know, be beneficial, like, whatever, like, just, so you just really focus and focus on taking care of yourself and taking care of your baby. That's what I was doing. I was just focusing on that. So I was researching, and I found out, this is when I researched, I just researched the text that was inside of the report, no fetal heartbeat detected. And just because I wanted to know, like, what does that generally mean? And I went and looked it up, and that's when it showed that that it was a miscarriage, and then it classified it as miscarriage because there's no sign of it. I didn't have any bleeding, like no cramps, like nothing, y'all. Like, I'm still even getting, like, I was still getting all of the symptoms and, like, dealing with all of the symptoms and stuff that I had. Still hungry, like I was still getting, like, everything. Like, I had no signs, like nothing, no signs whatsoever. So that's another reason I was confused too, because I'm like, it didn't even, like, it just didn't feel real. Like, you couldn't make sense of it because it just didn't feel real. It didn't feel like nothing happened. So then I found that out. I researched that, and then I was like, oh my God. And y'all, my closest confidant is my friend Gracie. And I was like, girl, I just really need to talk to somebody. Oh no, before I called Gracie, I got a call from my OB. And even though I felt like the first appointment was a waste of time, we really connected with the doctor. Like, I don't know, I do good with, like, just connecting with people. Like, the vibe is I don't know, it's easier to connect with people. So when I got to the appointment, the first appointment, even though I felt like it was a waste of time, like, I knew I had a good doctor because we were talking, cracking jokes and, like, stuff like that. Crack a joke with me, we good, we best friends. Like, I'm a goofy person. So we and her husband was also, like, in the army, so we talked about military stuff, so we were really cool. So she called and she asked if I would be able to come into the office. And y'all, ooh, I already knew, so I just said yes. But by that time, y'all, it was not safe for me to be on the road. I had finally made it home. I had finally made it home from the pizza place, and I was already, like, hysterical. Like, I had so many tears in my eyes I could barely freaking see. I kept wiping my eyes, and just so then I got home and I had my sister Zabi take me to the appointment. And when I got in there, that's when she told me. And then she already knew that I knew because of how, like, I was already, you know, yeah. So she already knew that I knew, and I knew what it was, but I just felt like I had to, like, hear it from her, because I just felt like I had to hear it. And also, you know, maybe I was hoping, I'll be honest with y'all, like, I was mad hopeful that she was gonna say, well, maybe we need to do another one or something like that. I was really hoping she was gonna be like, something could have been off. But yeah, so that wasn't the case. So she came in there and she was like, she was so hurt to have to tell me, because like I said, how we had connected before, and she was like, I didn't know how to come out here and have this conversation with you. And I was like, I can only imagine how many times you have to have this conversation with people. But she was like, just because of how we were when you came in, how excited you were, and like how we all connected, like it was just, this was hard for me to come in and have to tell you. And then I asked her, I was like, you know, they don't print out like the ultrasounds and stuff like that. Like, you don't even see the photo. I only saw a report. So I asked her if I could see like a photo of the ultrasound, because I don't know, I think I didn't even see anything. Like, I didn't even, like, is it really a baby in there? Like, you see nothing. So I went back in the office with her and she showed me, and I just felt like I needed some closure too. And she showed me the video on her computer. She showed me a video on her computer, and she showed me the photos on her computer. And she was trying to print it out for me, but she couldn't. So she just let me take a picture of it with my phone. So I was like, all right, cool. So did that. Got home. I think by the time I got home, I don't remember if by the time I got home, Faison was off of work, or if he was, yeah, he was off of work. And he had stopped by my favorite ice cream place and got me some butter pecan ice cream from Sprinkles here in Tamarack. So make sure y'all go check them out. Shameless plug. Not so shameless, but either way, he got me some ice cream and stuff, and you know, we just chilled for the rest of the day. And I kept, you know, this was before, no, actually I got my story mixed up. So y'all, after I left the doctor's appointment, that's when I met up with my friend Gracie. And she, when I tell you, like, she's the one who, like, when I say stupid stuff that most people wouldn't expect you to say, she'd just look at me like, why are you like this? So I just wanted to talk to her about, like, a lot of the stuff that I had in my head, so that I can get it out. Because sometimes you feel a certain way, but you don't know how to verbalize it or how to say it without it sounding a certain way. And she's also she's also a therapist, y'all. So I just say talk to her about it, and really just try to, like, make sense of it, and get comfortable with, you know, what the situation is, and accepting it for what it is, and actually looking at, you know, the silver lining, and what are some of the good things that came out of it. So, you know, one, you know, finding out that, you know, we could get pregnant, we can definitely have a baby, all right, that is possible. But then also realizing that, like I said, once I found out, I hopped into the space of taking care of myself. And then I just realized how much I had been neglecting taking care of myself. So it forced me to see that, and forced me to make plans to treat myself better, and, you know, make sure I'm eating, exercising, like taking care of myself realistically, because work is going to be there. And it kind of like helped me to see sight of, like, the things that are important a lot more. So and then also, because I had wrote off the idea of getting pregnant, I just didn't think of it anymore as an option. So it brought that back to me. So I was like, okay, cool, this works. And I got back home, And that's when Faison was home with ice cream, and we chilled on the couch. And by that time, I was feeling better. I wasn't like crying as much, but I was, you know, I was feeling a certain way. So the doctor, while I was at the doctor, I asked the doctor what were the options that I had, and she told me, actually I was 10 weeks at the time, so she told me that I had 3 options. She said I can, 1, allow the process to happen naturally, so eventually the baby would come out. 2, they could give me some medication to force the baby to come out, and then 3, I can go through the process of DNC. So then I was like, all right, I'm gonna allow it to happen naturally. You know, I want to allow the baby to make its own exit, right? So I was like, okay, cool. Then I after about a week, she told me that it should be a week. She told me it should be a week or 2 weeks. So after about a week, that next week, that week and a half, I went back. That week, and I went back, and nothing had happened. I wasn't feeling nothing, no bleeding, no nothing. So I went back and I told them that I just wanted to schedule the DNC. And they did my blood work to make sure that my HGC levels were going down, and they were. And I went in there and I did the blood work, and it didn't feel real until I did the blood work. And when I did the blood work, oh y'all, I just broke down. I broke down so bad that the lady let me go out the back door so people didn't see how I was crying, y'all. Like, it did not feel real until I did the blood work. And then I got in the car, and I was trying to pray myself through it, just because that was another thing, you know, my connection with God hadn't been there, you know, as well. So I was like, all right, cool. Got back in the car, got home. The DNC was scheduled. I did the blood work on a Friday. The DNC was scheduled on a Monday. And I was really just, you know, focusing on trying to like get my mind right for it. So on Monday comes, we go to the hospital. They tell you to be there at 9 o'clock. And the procedure was going to start, but there was a delay in someone else's procedure. So what a DNC is, it's called dilation and cuttage. I'm going to put it in there, but either way, that is the procedure in which where they suck the fetus and all of like the baby stuff. But basically suck the fetus, the placenta, and everything out of your uterus. So they actually have to physically go in there and like remove it. So that's what that process is. And we got there, and they actually put you on anesthesia. So I was expecting to, you know, be up, ask questions, blah blah blah. Like, not during the procedure. I didn't want to be up during the procedure. But I thought when they finally came back to get me, they gave me something in the IV. I already had IV. They gave me something in the IV, and they asked me like 3 questions. They asked me 2 questions, and I don't even know if I answered the second question, because all I remember is waking up, and and then that's when Faison was like, how you feeling, how you doing? The doctor came back there, checked on me, and they just made sure that I was up. Then they moved me to outpatient, and I couldn't leave outpatient until I peed, because they also put a catheter in you during the procedure, and it burned when you pee. Like, after that first time, you like, ooh, shit, it burned so bad. Oh my God. And you have they'll tell you like you'll be spotting over the next few days, but if you bleed more than like 1 to 2 2 pads per hour, then you need to come back in, because something's going on. So I finally used the bathroom. Faison brought the car around, and they cleared me to leave. They give you antibiotics during the process, but then they give you a prescription for some ibuprofen afterwards. But I already had ibuprofen because y'all know I be getting the migraines. Well, y'all don't know, but I get migraines. So I already had them ibuprofen at the house. So I got home, took the ibuprofen, and I just laid down because you do feel cramping. That's another thing too. I had like light cramping, and you do kind of feel like I don't know, you just don't feel like doing nothing. Like you just, so I just came home and I laid down, and I just took, because I was still, you know, sleeping off some of that anesthesia. So I came home and I laid down and just went to sleep and woke up, watched some TV. I laid on this couch for like almost almost 3 weeks after the situation. And I hadn't worked, like I hadn't did nothing. Like y'all, I was really feeling it. Even though I was trying to like get back out of the house to, you know, like I was trying to get back out of the house, but every time I got out, I felt like I did it too soon. I did it too fast. I did it too early. But before that, you know, I hadn't even announced that I was like pregnant or told, you know, people outside of my mom, my dad, and my sisters. So I hadn't told nobody, and I was like, dang, like, you know, which is a good thing. And Faison's parents. We told Faison's parents. Faison's parents told his Faison's parents told his some of his family too, because they came here. They came here right after we found out, and then it was like a week before we found out about the miscarriage, and then we had to call and tell them, and he was having a hard time calling and telling them. It's hard. That's a hard part, I will say, untelling people. Like untelling people, because you had to keep living this over and over, and it was to the point where like I think I had just told my aunt, and I had to tell my mom. I'm like, Mom, like can you tell her, because I'm tired of untelling people at this point. We didn't tell a lot of people though. Like I said, we did not tell. Only my mom, my dad, my grandma, and then my grandma's sisters, my auntie Pearls, and Auntie Doo, and Auntie Bad, and that was it. But it's hard untelling people. Yeah, untelling was a hard part. But yeah, so that was a process, and then I finally, you know, started to feel a lot more comfortable with it. So I posted about it on Instagram and on Facebook, and people were reaching out and telling me about their experiences and telling me that it happened to them, and so like, and I was just so shocked. I was shocked because this is a part of like pregnancy that we don't talk about. Like I said, like I had no idea it was that common, because I mean, shoot, we in high school and girls is getting pregnant, like, not like, yeah, no, girls was getting pregnant all the time, like having babies and stuff. So I'm just like, I thought it was easy. I thought it was easy to have a kid. I thought it was easy, and then, but I don't know, you know, everybody's different. But again, like I said, I didn't realize how common it was. It's very common in your first pregnancy, and it also is very just common to have miscarriages in general. The miscarriage was different because, like I said, there are no signs, there's no warning or anything. But yeah, so when I finally did get back out of the house, I was like, all right, cool, I'm starting to feel comfortable. But I did make a vow and like a promise to myself to continue to take care of myself after the fact, because we do plan to try again, but you know, my doctor was saying give it like 3 cycles before you like try again. So I was making sure everything is regular, so give yourself some time. So we're gonna wait some time to do that. But yeah, so that's pretty much like how these last few months have been going for me. But in that time frame, like I said, it forced me to kind of really focus on taking care of me, but also making like different decisions with things that I was gonna do. So many of you know I have a business called Govlier, where you know, we were bidding on government contracts, and we were teaching businesses how to do business with government agencies as well. So what I end up focusing on doing with that one is just scaling that business back so that I can focus more on the retail, on a real estate side of what I do. So I'm also a realtor. So we're scaling, well, I scaled back Govlier to really just focus on like having a training academy, and then that'll give me more time to actually build my real estate business, because I haven't done anything with it. And that's where I really want to do. Like, I've always wanted to be in real estate. When I first got out of the Navy, I took the test and told y'all I failed the test. But so that's the plan. So that's what I've been doing so far, and it's been working out. And it'll also give me a lot more flexibility, like I said, when we do start to have a baby. It'll give me a lot more flexibility to be able to be here, because I want to be like in their face 24/7. They're gonna be so sick of me, so sick of me. But yeah, so that's been the experience. So I will say, for anybody who is, you know, in the process of, or has been through the experience of actually going through a miscarriage, or, you know, just pregnant and just thinking about what the process is going to be like, I will say it is not easy finding out. It wasn't easy for me. It wasn't even so easy for Faison. It wasn't easy for my family, because they were worried about me, y'all. They was worried about they was worried about your girl. But I will say that there is hope on the other side, right? There is opportunity on the other side. So yeah, I just wanted to share that story, share my story, my experience. I'm not gonna sit up here and pretend to be able to give y'all like legal terminology and all of that, because I don't have it. I can only talk about what I went through and how the experience was for me. That's it. But I appreciate y'all sticking around, listening. If you do have questions, I can tell you some stuff, because I'm pretty sure I skimmed through this, even though this video is what I feel like long. But even though I skimmed through this, you can ask me questions. I feel like I'm open now. I teared up a little bit, y'all, but you know, I'm good. I'm good. But yeah, that's it. Go ahead and like this video. Don't forget to comment. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And comment if you have any questions about anything. Like I said, this was more of an overview, but if you want me to go into detail about certain parts or anything, I can. Yeah, so that's it. All right, well, thank y'all for sticking around, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.